It seems like this year, more and more people put up and turned up their Christmas lights days and even weeks before Thanksgiving. I know a few people who even had their Christmas trees up right after Veterans Day. On the one hand, I was not ready. I was not ready to skip Thanksgiving. And on the other hand, I totally understand, because we need light. Physically, we need light. The plants and trees we need for survival need light to make their food, which makes food and air for us. In our own bodies, light boosts our vitamin D levels and regulates our melatonin and serotonin levels, leading to deeper, more restful sleep and promoting calmness and focus. We don't just appreciate light, we need light in all its forms to survive as human beings. And as much as we need physical light, we also need spiritual light. In the Gospel of John, Jesus makes 7 statements about who he is. 7 statements about what his purpose is. I am the bread of life. I am the gate. I am the good shepherd. I am the resurrection and the life. I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am the vine, and I am the light of the world. I am the light of the world. Light is symbolic of many things in our culture. However, to the people who first heard Jesus say these words, light had only one meaning: God. Light meant God's presence. In the beginning, when earth was a formless void, God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. When God appeared to Moses and called Moses to set God's people free from oppression and slavery, God appeared to Moses as a burning bush, as light. And when God led God's people out of Egypt, God appeared to them as a pillar of fire, light, to guide them through the wilderness. To the Israelites, light meant God. Light meant God's presence. So when Jesus said, "I am the light of the world," what they heard was, God is here. God is with us, just as God was with those who came before us. God is also guiding us. Just as God guided the Israelites through the wilderness, Jesus is the light that will lead us through the unknown of our lives and world. Those who follow Jesus will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. Now, that's not to say that there will be no more darkness in our lives in the world. It's not to say that everything will be perfect, that we will have no troubles or challenges. It also doesn't mean that we will be perfect, that we will have no anger or frustration or resentment. It does mean, though, that with Jesus, there will be light for the next step. With Jesus, we have hope, and hope is a very powerful thing. Hope is that flicker of light that keeps us going when we don't think that we have one more ounce of strength to try. Hope is the light that gives us the faith to believe when all seems impossible. Hope is the knowledge that we are not alone, that Jesus is guiding us in the right paths, paths that lead to light and to life. In his blog post, The Powerful Meaning of John 8:12, Jeffrey Curtis Poore writes, "Culture all around us is never short of ways we can find happiness. The problem is all those paths don't lead where they promise." There is so much light to this season, so much cheer, and yet we could eat a mountain of Christmas cookies. You could shop, 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 and shop some more. You could run from festive gathering to festive gathering and light up every square inch of your house. And still, you could feel empty. You could feel anxious. You could feel like happiness and joy were just still out of reach. Culture around us is never short of ways we can find happiness. The problem is all those paths don't lead to where they promise. They rob us and leave us stuck in the darkness. Jesus offers us a better way to live, a way that actually leads to love, joy, peace, kindness, the things you and I are actually after. The spiritual light of Jesus leads to the life we are actually after. The spiritual light of Jesus leads to love, joy, peace, kindness, and wholeness. The spiritual light of Jesus finds all of those dark places inside of us, our fears, our anxieties, our worries, our insecurities. The light of Jesus finds all of those dark places and shines a light on them, bringing healing. This is Jesus' purpose. Jesus is the light of the world. He has come into the world so that we won't be stuck in darkness, fumbling about, lost and hopeless. I imagine that I am not alone in feeling sometimes feeling completely at a loss for how to move forward. I'm faced with a problem, and I can't come up with any solutions. I struggle with it for a while. Too often, I visit the pantry and look for inspiration amongst the cookies. And then I remember that I don't have to fumble around in the darkness by myself. Jesus is the light of the world, the light of my world. And God is not only with me, God is inspiring me, transforming me, guiding me. God is leading me on a path that leads to light and life. And this is why we are Christians. This is why we believe. This is why we wait for Jesus, because he is the light of the world, because he reminds us that we are not alone, because he brings us hope, because he shows us a way that leads to what we are actually after, the light of life, a life of love, joy, peace, kindness, and wholeness. As the days grow darker, as the world seems to grow darker, we seek light. We need light. We need Jesus, the light of the world. Amen.